What happened from that moment of you walking down the tunnel at half-time to entering the dressing room? What went on?
Most dressing rooms are a little bit chaotic in the first minute or two. Players are talking to each other about what's just gone on. But then obviously Rafa appears after he spoke to his staff, and he got everyone calm, got everyone quiet. That's when Rafa had the stage for himself, and I'll let him take over. But that was the main part of the half-time, is the moment Rafa comes through the door to the minute he stops speaking, because that's what we're going to do in the second half because of what went wrong in the first half. Without that instruction and that guidance and that calmness, that's where I seen Rafa's best performance as a manager, in that probably 3-4 minutes you spoke for, 3-4-5 minutes.
A little bit more maybe.
Really?
Yeah.
It felt like 4 or 5 minutes. Without that guidance and them instructions, we don't go out and change the way we play. So
I think many managers would have screamed their lungs out to us that we were so poor in the first half.
I used to be calm.
But you could still tell. Calm. You could still tell. You didn't have to shout or throw or point. I could tell by your demeanour. Yeah, you're calm because you have to be calm. It's the most important team talk you're going to give. But we could see behind the mask, if you like, that Rafa's seeing here, he's not happy with us.
I was taking notes, 2-0 down, what I have to say in English, and then we concede the third goal. So then I have to think, and I have my notes, they are there. So the first thing was about stay calm. So we have been working so hard to be here with nothing to lose, 45 minutes to change things, blah, blah, blah. And after I have to know that if we score 1 goal, we will be back into the game. It's easy to say, no, apart from the jokes about Jamie Traore that sent to the shower and all these things. But you have to, I told Paco Ayestaran, be sure that when I finish my talk, you take Didi Hamann, because we will change to 3 at the back and control. So it was a tactical approach, was try to give the team some confidence. And the main thing was a plan. So if they know that you have a plan, they will follow, because we did it so many times. They will follow, even if you are wrong, but they will believe in you if you say, okay, we have to do this or that.
Before we talk about the highs of what happened in Istanbul, was there a moment that you didn't believe and you thought, actually, this could ruin sort of everything, like the legacy that could it tarnish what you've already done?
I don't know, I think the belief was quite low when we were walking to the dressing room after the first
goal
half. And
felt like it was big for them.
Because the good Italian sides normally that time, that when they go 1-0 up, that they control the game and they win.
And we didn't have much goal action from an attacking point of view. We maybe should have had the penalty. We had a few half chances, but in the main we were dominated a lot. So at 3-0, to walk off that pitch and believe you were going to win that game or be successful,
It was hard.
it was difficult.
It was hard for the fans watching
It was
as
the most difficult walk off a pitch.
Could you hear the fans in the dressing room? I couldn't, because I was focused on
all the way in. And a 3-0 normally, most fans would give up and lose their voices. Ours far more.
Yeah.
Ours far more. So
to highlight how big it was, is there a world where Liverpool don't win that game, and what effect does that have if we roll the years on forward? Do we have nights like the Barcelona game? You know,
I think the Barcelona game is close because of obviously you're 3-0 down. So again, you're playing against Messi, your Suarez's, and this is the final. It's different. You know, of course, Barcelona, unbelievable night. I was there, my daughter's first game. Couldn't believe it. Was having palpitations watching the game. It was incredible.
You knew what you'd done to us.
And Liverpool's known for these type of nights and comebacks and the crowd and all this, but I don't want to try and put more juice into the Istanbul. It doesn't need it. It's obviously called the Miracle of Istanbul anyway, but if you look at the recent Champions League winners and how it's going to move forward, I'm not sure that'll be done again, because we wasn't in the top 10 best teams in Europe. In terms of squad, in terms of level.
They brought me to compete in 3 years. So that was the idea. It's not, we have to win. So it was very clear. In 3 years, we want to have a competitive team. So we knew that the team was not the best team. So you talk about Juventus, you talk about Chelsea, you talk about AC Milan. Player by player, they have 11 players that they were top class players. Everyone.
Yeah, but they don't have.
Yeah,
they don't have
we
the
have.
combination of fans,
Yeah.
team. Yeah, got good players,
Yeah.
of course, world superstars. Fans, team, coaching staff, combined, get you there.
No, I agree.
Going from that final to like Istanbul, right? Obviously, like that Milan team on paper, was
one of the
probably
best
one of the best
11s
teams ever.
One of the best
You know
11s
what I mean?
of all
Like
time,
Carragher,
lad.
best player in the world at the time. Everyone was saying,
Yeah.
you know, Yaps down there.
Never forget that when he scored two at Old Trafford.
Yeah, I remember
just took the absolute piss.
Was that like, obviously, like by now, loads of people have heard all the stories from our time at Istanbul and stuff like that. But like, was that a moment like going into that game? Did you think like we should be here, or was it like, you know, when you think like
Not really. As in, yeah, I did. I wasn't nervous at all. Really, I was more nervous 2 years later.
yeah,
Because it was almost like not we were expected to be, but you knew what was at stake. Whereas 2005, I was a bit like, wow, I'm going to make sure I enjoy this.
Yeah,
you know, I'm like,
yeah.
wow, am I
Take
ever
it all
going
in.
to... I didn't think I'd ever play in a European Cup final. You know, I knew I was playing for Liverpool and I knew I was a decent player, but I thought, you know, there's levels.
Yeah.
And like, when I used to watch Champions League finals, you're talking about like the Maldinis, the Berezzis, the Ajax teams. I used to watch the Juventus teams that came after that under Lippi, Van Gaal's Ajax team I just mentioned. I used to just admire these teams. I'd know all the players, you know, 1 to 11, where they played, the tactics, the systems and all. I used to watch these and think, well, I'm a pro footballer, but this is different. This is you know, it's a different level, this. And the reason I say that is because even at the time when Arsenal and Man United were winning leagues in the 90s, they were getting nowhere near Champions League finals.
No,
They were
they
just
wasn't,
like,
yeah.
they weren't even getting close, really.
Yeah.
And so I was a bit like, wow.
yeah.
You know, I remember the night before the semi-final against Chelsea at home.
The ghost goal game, yeah.
Yeah. But I remember going for a walk on Crosby Beach, and I was whatever the time was, I was thinking, no, it must have been, I was thinking, in 24 hours time, or a bit more, 48 hours time, I'm going to know if I'm in a European Cup final. That's what was going through my head before the Chelsea game. It's a bit like, I can't believe I could be in a European Cup final here.
What's
You
that
know?
like to deal with though?
No, but for me, it wasn't like nerves or not like that. I think that Scouse thing of like,
Yeah.
I'm like, wow, but like, I'm going to have a good go at it.
Yeah,
You know, I'm not going to like be
yeah.
terrified or
Yeah.
fear anything.
Let them worry about us, sort of
Yeah,
thing.
but not worry, but you know, like I'm going to put myself about.
Yeah,
I'm not going to be
yeah,
like in the headlights, rabbit in the headlights.
of
So
course.
the Chelsea game happens, we get through, and then the Milan game. Yeah, I mean, I'm right on it. I'm right up. But don't forget, Milan, I think, finished third in Serie A that season. Juventus won the league. We beat Juventus in the
beat them,
quarters.
yeah,
So I'm thinking,
That
all right, they're probably
Garcia
going to be the
lob.
same as Juventus. And to be honest, Juventus wasn't that hard.
No. Did you not-
Italian teams, the only time I've played an Italian team,
We beat them 2-0 at home, didn't we?
2-1 at home and then 0-0 all the way to
0-0
0-0
away, yeah.
scoring that goal. Like,
Yeah.
But what I'm saying is, Italian teams are normally like, the game's quite slow.
yeah, they're
You
good
know what I said to you
defensively, aren't
before
they?
about Arsenal, sometimes things are that quick, you
Yeah.
don't know what's going on. But it was the opposite with Italian teams, it was that slow.
Yeah.
You'd always get back in position, you always felt like, sometimes, I mean, this might sound mad, when we played Inter Milan 2 or 3 years later, it was one of the easiest games I've ever had.
Really, yeah.
And they've got like some great players. We played the San Siro, we played them at home. I'm not saying it in like a cocky way, it was easy.
Yeah.
You know, it was just
Yeah.
like the Premier League, the intensity of the Premier League was that fast that when you'd play in Europe, it felt like a stroll sometimes,
Yeah.
you know. But what I'd say is in 2005, against AC Milan, that was the first time I played against an Italian team, or the only time I ever played against an Italian team where it felt like I was playing against Arsenal or something like that, where it was just like, fast and people were moving. You didn't know, you had no time to speak to someone. It was happening 100 miles an hour because Italian teams just didn't play like that. And then that first half, it was just like, whoa.
Yeah.
Whoa, because I knew they were great. You look at as you said, the names.
The names of
But
that
I didn't think
team.
they were that good to put on a performance that good.
Yeah.
You know, because as we played against Juventus.
What really happened in the dressing room in Istanbul at half-time?
Pretty boring, not an awful lot. If you came in the dressing room in 2005 and heard the manager address us, you probably wouldn't have known whether we were winning 3-0 or losing 3-0 because he was dead calm, he was very pragmatic. We came in, he said, have a drink. After 2 minutes, he addressed us. He said, we make a change in the second half. Jimmy Traore was meant to come off. I'm coming on, so he went through the team, how we play in the second half. Obviously, the reason me coming on was to move Steven Gerrard a bit further forward because he was our biggest goal threat. And then the most remarkable thing that happened probably was that Steve Finnan complained about a sore groin. And we already made a change in the first half. Harry Kewell came off, Smitsa came on. Mm-hmm. And then he asked Steve Finnan how long he can play. And Finn said maybe about 20, 25 minutes. So he made a decision on the spot, which I didn't know because I was outside warming up. And he got Jimmy Traore back out of the shower because if Jimmy had come off and then he has to take Steve Finnan off after 60, 65 minutes and you get into extra time, you haven't got a substitute for 60 minutes. And that was the thinking behind it. And this is where I think great managers are always one step ahead because that could have potentially cost us the game. Not because Steve Finnan stayed on, but because we got in the... into extra time and then we couldn't have used any more subs and he went through the team, how we're going to play in the second half, went through the set pieces and that was it really because you can't dwell on the past and I'm sure the manager tonight didn't say we need 3 more goals. Everybody knows what's at stake and what needs doing and you just have to look forward, you know, there's no point looking backwards saying you're at fault for the goal. He was very calm and no blaming. He said, we need to get the next goal and then see what happens. And I'm sure that the manager tonight chose similar words to the ones beneath us. And fortunately for us and for them tonight, it worked.